Hello, today we are going to explore ChooseItMaker in two different videos. The first video we are just going to go through how to access ChooseItMaker, how to log in, some of the setting options, and then also the student view as they complete an activity. In the second video we will specifically go into how to create activities for students. There's a couple important things to know about ChooseItMaker. The first important thing to remember about ChooseItMaker is that you should be using the Google Chrome web browser. That's the recommended browser for this program. So when you're using it, just make sure you're in Google Chrome. Two nice features of ChooseItMaker are that because it's a web-based program, you can access ChooseItMaker on any computer that has an internet connection. And you can also create activities using ChooseItMaker from any computer that has an internet connection. Another nice feature with ChooseItMaker is that there is a downloadable app called the ChooseItMaker app. And so if you have a student who is maybe a touch user and you don't have access to a touch screen, you could download the app and they could complete any of the activities that you've created on their iPad. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, the first thing to know is that you should be accessing Help Kids Learn through Google Chrome. So I have opened up Google Chrome, and up in my web address bar I'm going to type in www.helpkids, and kids is with a Z, learn.com. The next thing I'm going to do is select ChooseItMaker, and you'll be directed to log in, and your AT specialist should have given you your school's login information. After you've logged in, just select Launch CM3. And so the screen you see right now is what the student will see when they log in. And as you can see right now, I have displayed page 1 of 13. So I have quite a few activities in this particular account. I can get to those or see those activities by just simply scrolling down. Another thing, if a student were to be just entering this to do an activity, you might need to help them find the activity, or they would browse to the activity themselves, but they simply select it and hit play. Before we go in and show you kind of what that looks like for students, I want to direct your attention to settings. And settings are important because we might have a variety of students across our district using this program, and there are some nice options for students. So I'm going to select my activity and I'm going to go up to settings. I want to set the settings for this particular activity. So when I select settings, I have a couple of different options. I have the options just for a mouse. I have an option for a student who would be using a touch screen. And I have an option for a student who would perhaps be using an eye gaze. I also have some switch access method options, which are nice for our students who are using switches. This first one being is a single switch scanning. And so I can choose that my scanning would start automatically when the page opens, or I could choose the specific number of seconds for it to start after the page opens. Or if I had a student that wasn't using a single switch but that was using two switch scanning, I would select two switch scanning. So there are some nice options that really would help a variety of users be able to access this program. But they're important that you do have the settings set correctly for them. Second is a switch delay. This is the amount of time that a switch must be held down before the program will recognize it as an actual hit or a switch press. So you can, if you have a student who perhaps has some delay in their responses, you can set that delay for them, or you can have it set to no delay. Here you can do some customizing of rewards. Maybe you only want the sound on the reward and maybe you don't want animations, or vice versa. You can also select the overall time that you want the reward to play. Next, these are the specific color options that you have. You can see we have activity text color, box outline color, page background color, rollover scan box color. So if you had a student who was using a scan or who was scanning, you could set these preferences for them. And we are finding that some of these preferences in color are important if you're using this program with students who perhaps have some sort of visual impairment or who maybe need some visual assistance with scanning. The thing that's important to know about this particular setting is that any changes that you make within these color settings will override activities made in the activity editor. So let's say you're in creating a new activity and you select that you want your rollover scan box or your background color to be blue. If you don't have blue selected in here, what you've set up the activity, the color that you set up for the activity will not hold that setting because the settings that you have in here override all settings in that activity. So a lot of people I'm finding just are leaving these white and they are making their own specific color changes when they're creating activities. Other options are for mouse cursors. So again, this might be important for a student that maybe has some visual impairment, but you have different options here for some different mouse appearances. So those are the settings. I'm just going to select OK. And again, you access settings right through here. So now I want to show you what a student would see when they first enter and view an activity. So again, as the teacher, I have made sure that I have my students' settings set correctly for them upon entering an activity. So let's say I have a student that's going to do this activity 50 below with some comprehension questions. So I'm going to go in, set my settings. I'm going to say that he's a 2-switch scanning user. And I only want his reward for 12 seconds. So I've set that up for the student, and now either you can hit play for them depending upon their needs, or obviously they would hit play. But once they hit play, the activity is going to start. So we're just going to view an activity. I am going to stop the activity early. So this is how it will open for the student.
At the beginning of the story, what was Jason's dad sleeping on?
Okay, so you can see here
A fridge.
the student was scanning through this.
The grass. A bed.
When they make an incorrect choice,
A bed.
you can see
The grass. The grass.
that the computer doesn't respond when an incorrect choice is made. When you make the correct choice, I'm going to scan back through,
A fridge.
a reward will start. I'm going to stop this activity early. I stopped it early because I wanted to direct your attention to this particular page. This page does do some monitoring for you of how they're doing within the activity. You can see it tells me how long they played the activity, how many questions I answered, and it will also tell you how many questions were answered correctly on the first attempt. So you can see here I answered 1 question and 0 were answered correctly on the first attempt because I did not answer that question correctly the first time. So while it doesn't track specific accuracy by question, it does give you how many questions were answered and then how many were answered correctly on the first attempt. So I have some options with this page. I could just continue, which would direct me to continue with another activity. I could exit, or I could save. And I do have some people using this save option, and they are emailing results to teachers. So if I select email, I can email myself these results and just simply hit send. Other options are to save, and this will just direct you to save the results to a specific location on your computer, and it's just a JPEG image. So all it really is just a print screen almost of this particular screen. Another option I have is to print. We just haven't had a lot of luck with this particular option, but from what I can see, it would just print this particular screen. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this activity, and I'm going to stop this portion of the video, In our next portion of the video, we will walk through how to make activities and then how to log out of the program. Thank you.